Hi. Let's talk about sciatica. Did you know that 40% of all people will get sciatica at some point in their life? Now, some of us are plagued with it, and some of us just have it for a short time and we get over it. Some of it's genetics. Frequently, it's a tight muscle, which is what I'm going to get into in a minute. But the sciatic nerve is the biggest nerve in the body. It runs from kind of the very lowest part of your back all the way out to your toes. Right? So it's very long. If this is your spine, and here's your pelvic girdle, and your spine kind of sits, it kind of goes into the pelvic girdle. And if it kept coming out, that would be a tail, right? So right there where the spine, the lower back ends, the pelvic girdle comes in, that's the sacrum. That part of the spine is the sacrum. So this then from the sacrum, these nerve endings come out. They kind of bundle, and they make this cord, right? And this cord kind of goes in through your pelvis and down the back of your leg. So it weaves around all through this area, back in through here, and then it can send shooting pains down the leg, numbness, tingling, burning sensations, all kinds of things. All right, so sciatica can be caused by a herniated disc, right? It can also be caused by muscle imbalances, tight muscles. So herniated disc, whole nother subject. Something like 70-something% of all cases of sciatica are the result of a tight piriformis. The piriformis is this muscle in your butt. You got 3 layers of glutes. Everyone knows gluteus maximus, but if you got a maximus is something you're going to have a minimus, right? And there's also a medius. So there's like this 3-ply glute thing, and then under all of that is the piriformis, laying underneath all those glutes. And then under the piriformis comes out the sciatic nerve, okay? And then that sciatic nerve, if that piriformis gets tight, it starts to press down on that sciatic nerve, which is now pressing into mostly like tendons underneath it, but tendons are harder, bone, things like that, right? So it's pressing into something hard. So what happens? It pinches down that sciatic nerve and sends these signals down the leg. So how do you loosen up a piriformis? Well, first let's figure out if that's the problem, right? Let's figure out if that's the problem. So to figure out if it is in fact your piriformis, you're going to lay down, and you can see I've kind of got my legs a little zigzagged, right? And I'm going to just lift my knee up. That's it. Now I can put that foot in front and do it, right? I can roll over more and do it. That's usually a more extreme test. If I'm really feeling bad about it, I'm going to try it from back here. But I'm just going to lift that leg because I have to tighten that piriformis. So if I tighten it, keep going, kitty cat. That was beautiful, Jake. If I tighten it, it'll pinch off that nerve and I'll feel it, right? Okay, so that's a very simple test for it. So what we want to do is loosen up that piriformis. That also includes its neighbors, the glutes, and even a little bit of lower back and hamstring. Okay, so we're going to start just by taking a leg and bringing it in. Okay, we bring it in tighter, it's more intense. Out farther, it's a little easier. If it's really hard for you, you can go ahead and leave that leg out straight. But then you're going to take the other leg and cross it over that. So if my leg's out straight, it's going to look like this, right? But either way, that foot winds up over on the other side. Somehow you get that foot over on the other side. Okay. Whatever knee is up there in the air, the opposite hand, see? Opposite hand crosses. This hand, the same side as that leg, becomes basically a kickstand. But I also want to press in that hand and lift up because I want my spine long. When the spine is tall, upright, it's designed to twist. When the spine is out of alignment, when it's crunched down, it gets hurt twisting, okay? All right, so I'm going to take my opposite hand, bring it over here, free hand, anywhere it goes. Now, you'll see people do this with a straight arm, a bent arm, hand mudras, all kinds of things. Bring it back around. A nice option, too, is to come underneath and through and pull that leg up. And I can already feel it pulling in this area, okay? Now I'm going to inhale and lift my chest. Exhale, back shoulder, shin tucked into my neck to line my neck up with my spine. Inhale, press into the floor. I can feel my tailbone and lower back kind of align up, right? Now that my spine's in a good alignment, I'm going to inhale and lift. Now, I'm not going to worry too much about twisting. I'm going to worry a lot about my posture because that's keeping me safe. But I'm going to focus more for this exercise, which is usually a spinal exercise. I'm going to focus more on this leg and pulling this leg in. And I'm going to feel that open that hip a little bit. And go hold that for a few seconds. And then I'm going to come on out. Nice and slow. And then I'm going to repeat on the other side. So I'm going to take the foot out, that knee that wasn't there. That's now the leg that comes in or stays out straight. And the other leg is now the one that goes over it. Okay? So the opposite arm comes around to that leg. I'm not grabbing the kneecap. I'm around the outside of the leg. Free hand becomes a kickstand. I can move that as I see fit. I'm going to inhale and lift my chest. My middle back lengthens. Exhale, look over the back shoulder, tuck your chin down. There's the neck in line with the spine. Inhale, press into the ground. There's the lower back and tailbone. And like I said, I'm not going to worry about twisting. I'm going to worry about posture because that keeps you safe. And I'm going to use this arm to kind of bring that leg up till I can feel it in my hip. I'm basically trying to hug my hip in to my body. Take a few breaths. Remember, it's that exhale that allows the muscles to relax. And then I'm going to come on out of that. Okay. From here, I'm going to go into cobbler. I'm going to take my slippers off. You can leave them on, though. I just prefer taking them off. And I'm going to bring the soles of my feet together. Notice I'm wearing jeans, right? Okay, I got the soles of my feet together. My hands can be my ankles or my feet. It doesn't matter. Then I'm going to sit up tall. I'm going to press into the ground, lift myself up, tuck my chin into my neck, press into the ground so I know my spine's in a good alignment. And then I'm going to exhale and come forward if I want it more intense. On the other hand, if it's killing me, I'm going to lean back some. You take a few breaths here. Now that is a stretch of the inner thigh, but where is that movement coming out of? The hip socket. So the joint that is in action is the hip. Okay? The muscle being stretched is right here. And we talked about everything being more around the back, but this is also this hip. So the femur head is rotating in that socket, and that's what I'm looking for. Okay. I'm going to hang out here as long as I'd like. It's a video. You can stop it, pause it, start it back up. Right. All right. Then I'm going to come on out, nice and slow. The next thing I'm going to do is bring one leg in, kind of like I did with that spinal twist. And then I'm going to see to what extent I can get that other leg around and the knee down. Now, if I can get my knees to kind of center up relatively well, I might do this, right? See that line, right? Killing me, I'm going to lean back. More intense, I'm going to lean forward. I might even kind of cup them and hug them. But what if I can't get my knees that close for whatever reason, okay? Okay, so I brought my leg in. I'm going to take my other leg over and drop it. Now I'm going to take this bottom leg and bring it forward to match that front leg. I am trying to stack my shins. This is called fire log. So think of your shins as stacking up like firewood. Now if this is killing me, I'm going to lean back. If I want more intensity, I'm going to lean into it. Right? The higher my knee is, the tighter this is in here. Right? I'm not touching my knee. I'm laying across these two bones, right? The one up here. See? There's my knee, right? I want knee around it here. Right. And see that little bit of weight. Now just wait for it to go down, and then you can switch to the other side. And back and forth as many times as you need to, or maybe you only need it on the one side because usually we only have sciatica on one side. Sometimes it's on both. Okay, when you get tired of that, you're going to come on out. Now we do a few. I'm going to kind of wind up out of camera. My living room right now is just not big enough to get the camera back far enough. So some of me will be off camera, some of me will be on. I'm going to start by just laying on my stomach. All right, I'm just going to lay on my stomach. And I'm going to allow everything to just sort of melt into the floor. Now I'm up on my forearms. So you can see about right there, I guess you can see my lower back and my arms. So my elbows are more or less under my shoulders. And I'm looking forward, but I'm not looking up because that's going to crunch off the back of my neck too much, which I've discussed in other videos as well. The nerves come down into your arms, and then your arms go numb. So it's almost like sciatica of the arms, right? All right, so we're going to let the pelvis kind of settle in. So this is a nice little baby back bend. See that little curve in my back? All right, and I'm just going to settle here. Then I might decide to activate it a little bit more by pressing my arms down into the ground and lifting my chest up a little bit higher. All right, what I'm really focusing on here is letting that pelvis melt into the ground, letting my upper legs melt into the ground, and trying to get something going on back in here in the sacrum. Okay, so now I'm going to push back to child's pose. So I can put my hands under my shoulders. My fingertips are kind of lining up with the front of my shoulders. My elbows are in, they're not flared out. And I'm just going to kind of inhale and roll myself up. And then I'm going to exhale. And I'm pushing my butt towards my heels. So I'm going to come forward on the mat. So I'm pushing my butt towards my heels. Now, who knows how far you're going to go? You might only get to here. You might get way back all the way to your heels. But then wherever you are, you're going to slide your arms out nice and long. And let the head go. Now, if you'd like, you can keep your knees together, a little bit apart, or spread them pretty wide. That gives you more space to accommodate your torso, right? My arms reach out nice and long, and that gives me nice length in my back, but it's also releasing through the sacrum here. I'm going to hang out here as long as I want. I'm going to glue my hands to the mat. I'm going to come up, turn my toes under, and press up into down dog. Okay, so down dog, my heels are heading towards the ground, and they're about hip socket distance apart. They shouldn't be really close together. There are some exercises where you do push them out, right? But for right now, we're going to be right here. My shirt's falling down, and a quick remedy for that is tuck it in your pants. All right, so pop back out. So my feet look like they're parallel, directly down from my hip sockets. My heels are heading towards the ground. They don't necessarily have to touch the ground. I've heard of yoga teachers actually breaking the bones in people's feet, trying to force their feet down. Don't do it. We have different bone structure, but wherever they are, they should be dropping towards the ground. Okay, so at that point, my knees are soft and kind of rotating out, right? Kind of rotating out. And then my tailbone lifts. I'm going to press into my hands, drop my chest. I might hang out here, but I'm going to show you a sequence where you go from down dog. You're going to come forward, almost like you're going to do a push-up, but bend your knees. Press back to child's pose. Come forward. Lay down into your Sphinx pose or prone position. I'm going to go back to child's pose. Got that? Okay. So hopefully that'll loosen up some of that in there. And then let's end with something was one of my favorites, right? One of my favorites. Reclining spinal twist. So I'm just going to lay down, right? I'm just laying down, nothing fancy. Right? I'm going to take my arms out to a cross position with my palms up, straight up from my shoulders. I'm going to leave one leg down on the ground. I'm going to take the other leg. I'm going to lift it up. I'm going to bend it, the knee. I'm going to drop it off. I'm trying to keep my shoulders down flat. And my head should be looking away from the camera at the other hand. But so you can hear me better, I'm going to face the camera. Now, if I play with this knee up and down, I can feel it moving back in here in the sciatica, in this sacrum. So I'm going to do some little knee circles. So my foot's just sliding around in a circle here. And then after it kind of warms up a little bit, I might take my hand and see if I can get it to go a little further down. I'll hang out there as long as I like. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to roll over and do the other side. Let's see if that doesn't help some. Bye.